The Courtroom, December 6, 2021, Calgary, Alberta. Inside the Provincial Court of Alberta, courtroom doors opened for sentencing day. At the front sat Judge G.D.M. Sterling, in his black robe, prepared to deliver a judgment that would weigh the line between justice and forgiveness. To the right, defense counsel R. Snookle seated beside her client, Arthur Thomas Caines. He was quiet, years old. No prior criminal record. Dressed neatly, nervous but composed. There was no victim impact statement. No release of medical records. SM, the woman Caines assaulted, was not in the room, but her absence carried weight. She had already told the Crown, "I don't want him to go to jail. I just want him to get help." The Life of Arthur Thomas Caines, Chronological Biography. Early years in Newfoundland. Arthur Caines was born and raised in Newfoundland. He had a typical active childhood and played many sports. His family life, however, was filled with tension. His father was often away, but Arthur was close to him. His mother was strict and highly critical. Their relationship was rough. Arthur described living at home like this. It felt like walking on eggshells. She had 2 other children from a previous relationship, Arthur's half-siblings, but he wasn't close to them. School and moving away. Arthur stayed in Newfoundland until age 19. He left home early, hoping for something better. He started post-secondary studies, but never completed a diploma or degree. Years later, he enrolled in a construction management program at Nova Scotia Community College, trying again to build a career. Love and loss, Arthur entered a relationship with SM. They were together for 3 years. Their connection had ups and downs. Alcohol often played a part in their struggles. Then came tragedy. In July 2019, SM gave birth to their son, stillborn, just 4 days before the due date. Arthur said it changed everything. It affected our relationship and our lives in every way possible. The grief sent him into a dark place. He was already a regular drinker, but this pushed him deeper. He didn't have diagnosed mental health issues, but after the stillbirth he described feeling dark and sad. The pain of losing a child shaped the emotional climate of his life from that point forward. Work and recovery. Arthur was unemployed at the time of sentencing, but he had experience as a landscaper and crew manager, working on underground pipe installations. He also began to confront his drinking. By June 2020, he quit alcohol completely. He joined Smart Recovery, an alternative to AA. He completed anger management, domestic violence counseling, group therapy at Calgary Counseling Center, and individual sessions with New Start Counseling. He was described by therapists as engaged, calm, reflective, and a leader for others. Arthur himself said the assault on SM was the worst thing I've ever done. Very little is known about SM's life before Arthur. The court records do not include a biography of her past, childhood, or employment. What is known is this: she was Arthur's girlfriend for 3 years. She lived with him in Calgary. She drank socially with him. In July 2019, she delivered their stillborn son 4 days before term. By June 2020, the relationship was strained and emotionally damaged. Both grieving, both drinking, both struggling. She never gave a victim impact statement. She never released her hospital records. And yet she left behind photographs that told the court what words didn't. Bruised lips, swollen eyes, purple marks on her forehead, arms, and waist. But even in silence, her final message was clear. I don't want him to go to jail. I just want him to get help. It started with a night out. Arthur Caines and his girlfriend SM went to a party with friends. They drank. There was alcohol, laughter, noise. But at some point, Mr. Caines left the party early, without SM. She stayed behind. Around 2:30 a.m., SM came home. That's when the tension exploded. Caines was angry. He told SM she wasn't welcome in the house anymore. An argument broke out. Voices rose. SM went into the bathroom, maybe to get space, maybe to calm down. But Arthur followed her. He didn't knock. He broke down the door. Then came the violence. In that small bathroom, he punched SM in the face and head, over and over with his fist closed tight. Then he grabbed her head and smashed it against the toilet. Then again, against the bathroom counter. Blow after blow, slam after slam. No weapon was used, just hands, rage, and a body acting without restraint. She didn't lose consciousness, but she was dizzy, confused, terrified. She told police later, he said he was going to kill me. The assault didn't end in the bathroom. Arthur dragged SM into a bedroom, where the beating continued. More punches, more pain. At this point, SM feared for her life. The night, the house, the man she once loved. Everything had turned into a nightmare. But she broke free. She ran, barefoot, injured, afraid, and she sprinted out the front door and down the street. Arthur chased her. He wasn't done, but SM reached a neighbor. That neighbor called 911. When police arrived, they saw the aftermath. Both sides of her face were swollen. There was a deep bruise under her left eye. Both eye sockets were puffed up and discolored. Her lip, forehead, arm, and waist all showed visible bruising. Photos of her injuries were entered into court. But SM refused to release her medical records. She also refused to give a victim impact statement. Still, paramedics treated her on the scene and brought her to Foothills Hospital. The full extent of her injuries isn't known, but the photos told their own story.
Part 3. The Courtroom Returns. Judgment and Reasoning. It was December 6, 2021 in Calgary, Alberta. The case of Arthur Thomas Caines had reached its final moment. He had already pleaded guilty to assault causing bodily harm. Now Judge G.D.M. Sterling had to decide how to sentence him. At the Crown's table stood E. Woodall. They asked for a 6-month conditional sentence order, house arrest, 12 months of probation after that, a DNA order, and a 5-year weapons ban. Woodall told the court, "This was a prolonged, brutal assault on an intimate partner. She feared for her life. She ran barefoot into the street. This must be denounced. A discharge is not enough." Across the aisle sat the defense lawyer R. Snookall. She didn't deny the assault, but she argued that Caines had shown real remorse, gone above and beyond with treatment and counseling, stopped drinking completely, been described as a leader in his therapy groups, and taken responsibility for his actions. She reminded the court that SM refused to give a victim impact statement or medical records and didn't want Arthur to go to jail. What she did want was for him to get help. Snookall said, "He lost a child. He was drinking, he was grieving. But since then, he has changed. He's done the work, give him a second chance. A conviction will only make rehabilitation harder." The judge's words. Judge Sterling listened carefully. He reviewed the facts. He didn't downplay the crime. He said, and this was serious. It was not brief, it was not impulsive. SM was repeatedly punched. Her head was smashed into a toilet and countertop. She had to flee for her life. But the judge also noted something important. Mr. Caines took exceptional steps to change. He completed at least 4 programs for anger and substance use. He hasn't had a drink since. He showed real remorse. He's described as a role model in his recovery. The judge balanced denunciation and deterrence, punishment and warning, with rehabilitation, change and healing. He agreed with the defense. This was out of character and deeply connected to alcohol and grief. He decided that a criminal record would hurt Caines's ability to keep growing, especially since he had no past record and had already taken responsibility. The sentence Judge Sterling imposed a conditional discharge, meaning no criminal record if probation is completed, 24 months of probation, 120 hours of community service, mandatory counseling for alcohol addiction and domestic violence,